Hello, everybody, and welcome. You have found the Gamer Social Club vidcast. I am your host, Nathan Lockhart, and I am joined by the one, the only, watch out, he'll drop the F-bomb, Frazier. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing really well. I'm doing well. I don't know. You might notice something different about me.
I
I'm fucking.
noticed.
You,
I'm sitting down, mate.
Yeah.
dude, I didn't think about
I
that.
I hurt my back in February, and I haven't been able to sit down for 5 months. And
Ouch.
the rehab has been fucking brutal. But I am. Yeah, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting fitter. I'm getting healthier, and I did a bit of a test yesterday, and I sat for 45 minutes. So I'm absolutely chuffed with that. So yeah, just gonna carry on.
What's the rehab like? Is it just like you go over there and they have you stand up, sit down on a beanbag chair like 56 times, and then
Right. So it's I go to physio once a week, and she just drills me with
I bet she does.
yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
I leave sore. Yeah, it's just heaps of focusing on my back and all the muscles and shit around it, and just trying to strengthen it, because what kind of happens with your back is when you've got a back injury, all the muscles around it compensate, and so now I'm hurting all the muscles around my back because they're like overworking. So it's just been fucking shit.
I hate
But
that.
yeah, feeling good, feeling good. Yeah, hopefully I can withstand the test. So you might see everything just start to raise halfway through, and I might stand up, but we'll see.
Now I'm not going to be able to not imagine your physical therapist saying, sit down in that beanbag chair and get back up, and finding new ways to try to reach you, and brings in like this
You'll
5-year-old
find a way to
kid.
be comfortable, damn it.
Yeah.
I'll send my
Hold these
daughter over
weights.
there to Australia, and she can just sit down in a beanbag and jump back up, and she'll be like, why can't you do this? And provide you the motivation.
Yeah.
And then Russell, how you doing, buddy?
Basically trying not to cook, just like last time.
Just like last time.
Yeah,
It's just a
it's
tiny bit
Just
hotter than
living
last
in a living in an oven.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome 104-degree weather. It should, after today, it should like start slowly dropping though, so.
time. Yeah. And then Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Having a good time. Happy to be still here.
Right?
We're gonna go with still here. Are we still here? We're back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Internet's a weird place, guys.
We're somewhere. We're somewhere.
Yeah.
We are in the what's the purgatory? That's where we're at. And then we got somebody new with us here from Gamer Social Club. We got Commander Buck, aka enter name here.
Oh, well, I go by Jonathan. Y'all call me Jay or Commander Buck or Buck. Either one of those things is perfectly fine. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I got to join in. This is my first time being here. First time talker, long time listener, I guess you'd say.
Oh, awesome!
Love it.
But yeah, just here to talk about Game of the Year so far.
Hell yeah! So
Fantastic.
we're glad to have you, man. And do you want to quick give the people an idea of what kind of gamer you are by like giving us maybe not your top favorite game of all time, but it doesn't have to be your top favorite game of all time, but maybe just what you're playing right now. What kind of games are you into?
So my favorite game of all time probably is The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Okay, cool.
It's probably
Ooh.
like my favorite game of all time. I think about it constantly. What I've been playing, I tried a little bit of the First Descendant, kind of like slow walking through that. Um, and I just finished Bolt Gun. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
Okay,
that is
yeah, I've
pretty
heard
cool.
good things
Brilliant.
about that.
Yeah,
brilliant game.
and
I think DLC is soon.
yes, DLC is soon, and they just
Yeah.
put in the Horde mode too, so that
Oh,
that was pretty cool.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so we are here today to talk about our game of the year so far, and we are our reference sheet here is the Gamer Social Club article written by Dano Omens on the website. We all voted. I don't know the total. Maybe he wrote it down here in the article. I've lost it, so I'm trying to like quickly scrouge back through the website to try to pull it back up here. But somebody help me out here.
There's
Where we
definitely a
go
lot
with
of people
He-
voting, but
Yeah,
it really
there's a lot
comes
of
down
people
to
Yeah, he did a-
our votes were the most important. So
So we gave our
the five
top
of us
3,
here.
and the point system was what, like our first vote got 5 points,
Yeah.
second vote got 3 points, third vote got 1 point. And you could say any game, could be anything at all.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. I've been scrounging.
I don't
through
think
the
he put
internet. I
the
literally
full
have
number
the
on
link
there.
right
It's all
here.
right.
Yeah, I
No.
don't think you put the full.
Yeah,
No.
it's not really. Yeah, we'll go with
Some
86. Yeah.
Yeah.
like-
yeah, 86, perfect number. Buck, I'm gonna steal this question straight from Jeff from last week because I really enjoyed it. What's your biggest hot take in gaming?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm taking it straight off,
Do
Jeff.
it.
Biggest
It's
hot
such-
take.
I'll send
in-
you a royalty
Yeah.
check. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what?
Both-
I don't even know if this qualifies as a hot take, but I'm always I think I'm known for the catchphrase that the trolls on Twitter don't play video games, they play Twitter.
Yep.
I think
Okay.
You
and I don't
Lady G would
know,
get
like
along.
I don't think that's a hot take, but I think that's
So-
like my punchline always.
A way to reword it is also like, what is like a gaming opinion you have or about a
Oh,
game
yeah.
that you would always get in shit for? That no matter what, if you brought it up with other gamers, they'd be like, "What the fuck's wrong with this guy?"
Oh,
Because you got to have some of those. We all do.
probably that PlayStation games aren't that good, but people have nostalgic feelings towards that brand.
Okay, yeah, that could, yep, in certain circles that
Certain
would definitely get
circles.
you shanked for sure.
Oh,
which
yes.
is hilarious because people would say that about Nintendo, and I would kind of disagree.
Yeah,
You know,
I think I'd probably be on that side of like I feel that way
Yeah.
a little bit towards Nintendo.
Yeah, there's definitely games out there that you say like they have this like cult following. Same with movies, like they're actually not that great, but for whatever reason, people just love it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Russell's-
I can
Sorry.
see that.
I finally
Yeah,
found it.
Russell said in the chat the other day because he was kind of on the spot last week, but a good one he had was Final Fantasy VII. It sucks basically.
It's not actually even Final Fantasy. Like if we're being honest, I don't like the series.
Mm.
Oh man, did you even
with
try
7,
Final
I've heard-
Fantasy 16 though?
So here's the
Being
deal.
Devil May Fantasy.
I've tried
Makes sense.
I've tried
Exactly.
7. I've tried 7. I've tried either 8 or 9. I've tried 10. I've tried 10 too. I've tried 14 and I've tried 15 and I hated all of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
Well, okay.
that sucks.
14 was tolerable, but I was playing it with friends. So, I mean, I guess that's part of the appeal.
Yeah. I think I think all of them but
But,
7, you'd have people agreeing with you. I think 7's the one when you say that's the one that'll get you. That'll
Yeah,
get
that'll
you the
get it.
glares
Oh, and
the shiv will be coming
Yeah.
out.
Also,
you know?
Yeah.
the Final Fantasy Integrate or remake, however you want to call it. Yeah, didn't really care for that either. But I've been told every time like a new one comes out, oh, you'll really like this one. You'll really like this one, and I never do. I've been being told that about 16 for like what's it been out, a year and a half, something like
It's
that.
been out a year.
But I
Yeah, that's the
also
reason
love
I
the Devil
asked,
May
'cause it is a
Cry
little
games, so
different, yeah.
maybe. But also, 15 was a little bit more like Devil May Cry 2, and I didn't really care for that. But supposedly,
No,
the
this is
story
way
wasn't up
more
enough
Yeah.
compared to
action
the others.
based than 15.
Yeah, 15 I
You
found
really- okay, well,
boring
yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
You gotta,
and
you gotta
16
give it to them though. They try something new each
Oh
time.
yeah.
Like,
They do, yeah.
and that's tough
Well,
to
there's-
do.
True.
It is, but
Did
it's also
they-
a good
did
way
they-
to piss off
is
your
it-
fan base too.
Yup.
It's like if Street
Is it
Fighter
just-
came out and they're like, Street Fighter 7 is gonna be a card game. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, no one asked for
Yeah,
this.
That's a really good point.
Slate of Street Fighters.
Does
Fire.
anyone know
Yeah, exactly.
with FF16? Is it still just rumored it's coming to PC, or did they actually confirm that?
It's all but been confirmed, basically.
Yeah, it's all been confirmed. Same for Xbox. It's pretty
Yeah.
much happening.
But we don't know when.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I finally found the article. Man, guys, I'm like literally sweating because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like looking all over the website because I had sent you guys a link and I accidentally sent you the link to the wrong article, so I was like really struggling here. So let me just quick go through Dano's article here. Again, I will put the link for Dano's article on gamersocialclub.com in the description below.
CA, brother.
Yeah, that's
Yes, so let's
Represent.
see. All right, so Fraser, you already explained the point system, right? Let's see.
Yep.
A first place vote goes for 5 points, second place for 3, and third place gets 1 point. 21 games received at least 1 vote. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start with number 5. We're going to work our way up, add some suspense here. So number 5.
Well, are we going to go through our personal ones?
Yes. I'm going to.
Should we maybe do
Yeah.
the personal ones first and then do what the site's top 5
You
were?
know what?
'Cause
I
they're-
like that idea better. Let's
right.
Yeah.
and let's start out with you. Do you want to go first, Jeff?
Oh, fuck's sakes. Okay, sure. Mine, and I can't remember the order I put them in because I told Dan, I'm like, mine are in no order, but keep them whatever order I listed them for points. So I'm just going to go with what I remember my top 3 were. I'll start with Helldivers 2,
Okay.
just because I didn't expect anything from that at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be pretty balls, actually, when I found out it was going to be like a service game and all that stuff. I was like, I don't know. And then I played it, and I was hooked for about a month. I didn't like go crazy on it, but I was playing it quite a lot, and it just blew every non-expectation I had out of the water because I didn't have any, but it was really good. They did it so well. I thought it was a great way to launch a games of service game, for sure. So many good times.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I
no.
want to.
Yeah, I haven't played it either.
It's
I want
fun.
to, but I've got so many. Like, I try and just do one live service game at a time, and at the moment, Fallout 76 has got that slot.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, one day you'll upgrade to a good one. Just saying.
And
No, that's fine.
I can't speak
That's
on
totally-
Fallout. I haven't played since launch.
and then Jeff, was that like the top listed for you, or was that like the
That
third?
would have been the third probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Russell, do you want to give us your third listed?
The 3 I actually was able to find the list. In order, I went with Crow Country, Another Crab's Treasure, and Still Wakes the Deep.
Okay. And then Crow Country.
So wait, so what was number 3? Crow's Country.
Still Wakes the Deep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Still Wakes the Deep is
Gary.
my number 1 horror game of this year.
Dude, okay, thank you. I'm only saying thank you because I don't play scary games a lot, and I was playing it. I should be done hopefully by tomorrow. I think I'm at the end, and I was
Yeah.
I'm like, this might be the scariest fucking game I've ever played.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is it
I
just because
was-
I'm a fucking like wuss or?
I was screaming at Travis when I was listening to you, and he's like, "I don't really like it." I'm
Oh.
like, "What? What are you
Yeah,
talking
it's
about?"
boring. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So casualties, I agree. Yeah.
what would be a good comparison as far as like levels of horror / scary? Like, what game would you compare it to?
Ooh.
Goes for either.
So
one.
there's no combat at all whatsoever.
No.
It is all like environmental scares. Of the way they've done the audio is
Yeah.
incredible.
It's nerve wracking.
Yeah, and they touch on all the the fear of heights and the fear of drowning, the fear of fire, the fear of
Claustrophobia.
claustrophobia, just being alone. It was
Yeah.
it was great. I loved it.
Okay.
And they do such a great job of hearing people talk or scream or just an agony from like a distance through like tin walls, because the whole thing takes place on an oil rig, and it's haunting. It's scary. It's like, yeah, I'm not really into scary games. I have to beat it now. I can't. Like I noped out of Alien Isolation because I'm like, I can't do it. I need to go back to that though. Think I can do it now. I think I put my big boy pants on and try it again. But I know. Did you play Amnesia? It's made by those same people, so I'm not sure if
Oh,
Amnesia
no,
is scary or not.
Nope.
Yeah.
Never played Amnesia. I've seen it, seen things about it, but never played it.
Yeah, same.
Amnesia
So what
Bunker
did you
was
like about it,
definitely
Casualties? What made it number 3 for you?
I mean, I like the game. I also, it being shorter to me was a plus. I think that you'll actually notice with my list, none of them are extensively long. I toyed around with the idea of putting Dragon's Dogma 2 on the list, but this year, for whatever reason, I'm liking games that respect my time more. But Still Wakes Deep, I liked the jump scares, the lag of combat. I thought it was just definitely all 3 of my games are very different. I mean, Crow Country, which got my number 1, is more of like a Silent Hill, Resident Evil, old school tank controls type game. And then Another Crab's Treasure is like Dark Souls, but with like a SpongeBob aesthetic. So
With the best fish puns ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to ruin the story for everyone, but about halfway through
just for the hell of it.
No, halfway through the game,
No,
everything's just kind of funny and puns, and then halfway through the game takes a really, really serious turn.
Oh shit! Really?
I didn't make it that far.
No, Sam.
Oh, see, your little crab guy. His name's escaping me. He starts like pondering his own existence, basically. Yeah, and it gets really, really rough after that.
Okay.
This sounds
sick. This is making me want to start that, like, finish it off even more.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and if you're having a hard time with the game, there's an accessibility menu, and in there's an accessibility option where you can literally just turn his shell into a one-shot 9mm pistol. And you can just mow your way through the entire game after that if you really want to.
So are you saying we all suck at it? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying right now?
I did
just
not say that.
Okay. Just say.
There was one thing I didn't bring up in my review. There was one boss that really pissed me off, and after about 4 hours, I was just like, "Fuck it, you're dead." So
yeah. I would do that after 2 tries, probably. Yeah.
Jeff was about to be like, have you even used a turkey leg in your life?
Yeah, exactly. Nice callback.
Yeah. And then Commander Buck, what's your top 3?
I'm gonna start from the bottom, and at number 3 is probably Hellblade 2.
Okay.
Nice.
That was an experience. That game actually made me like ponder like my own life. Like, it was like, people, have called it a walking simulator, and I understand that, and there's combat in it, but like, just the themes of like self-doubt and like not being able to like believe what you see or what you hear is something that game does the best job I've ever experienced. And like, just totally just like fucking with your mind and making you think, crazy shit is happening. And I've read some theories about the bosses in the game. I'm not going to spoil it, but
I should look into some of those.
It was a couple that was like, whoa, like, it kind of like blew my mind. And I had a really good time with that game. The number 2 game is probably a game that everybody's sick and tired of hearing about, is Balatro.
I haven't played that, but I should probably play that.
Oh my god, that game is...
I've heard of it.
It's insane. If you're slightly interested in poker or slightly interested in weird, obscure roguelike games, I would highly recommend it. Okay. It's one of those games where if you play it, you can get sucked into it real fast. And it just gets crazy. definitely sit down to play. Like, all right, I'll play for 15 minutes, and like 2 hours later, I'm like, oh shit, like I don't know where the time went.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then my number one is probably it's so funny because I go back and forth between Balatro and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Hmm.
Okay.
That game is just awesome. I
It's
really
on my list.
it's so good.
I fell off it.
Thanks to Game Pass, it is that's when I got into Yakuza, and I've been a fan ever since. Um, the thin line of balancing being goofy with being having a serious story is something that they do probably the best I've ever seen.
Now, Buck, are you much of a fan of Mass Effect?
Yeah, actually, I do like Mass Effect.
Okay, because the reason I ask is I've heard the comparison of people saying the they care about those characters in a way that they haven't cared about characters since Mass Effect. Was that something you would agree with?
Oh, wholeheartedly. I think that's the best way to put it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because they do a great job of making you care about them, and you actually care about their struggle. You actually care about, what's going to happen to this character, and then at the same time they'll do something totally goofy that you'll be like laughing about for like 20 minutes. It's the best balance.
I love
I'm a bit
that.
confused of that comparison.
Really?
I'm assuming you think you meant Dragon Age?
No, I met Mass Effect.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, yo,
Okay.
I met Mass Effect because, like I said, I don't think there's very many games out there. No, I mean Dragon Age is a good example as well, but
Oh
you
no,
know,
no. Just because when you said they care about their characters since then, I was like, I thought you were saying the developers were the same. That's when I got confused. I was like,
not the
I was like,
developers. I
oh,
just
what?
meant like as a consumer,
As a
not
okay,
really
yeah,
caring
yeah.
about.
Yeah, I got it.
Totally makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I got you
Okay,
now.
yeah. That's actually sold me on the Yakuza, dude. I've heard so many people be like, "Oh, you gotta play Yakuza, you gotta play Yakuza," and I've heard people kind of make that comparison before, but hearing your confidence and like, "Oh, hell yeah!" Like that's absolutely what I would compare it to. That sold me.
Yeah. Yeah, I would tell you, like, Yakuza's story is long, convoluted, and crazy, but like especially the last two Like a Dragon games with I can't remember his name.
Ichiban?
Ichiban.
Hmm.
Um some of the best like story I've played, and I don't know, a lot of people were a little sour on the last one, but it was so good to me. Like, man, it really like just made me want to like root for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally,
You know?
100%.
Here's
And
a question for you,
He's a
Buck.
good dude.
As someone who has never played any of these games, if I was to pick up Infinite Dragon, would I be missing out on anything?
So that's
Like-
an interesting question, because a lot of people would say yes, and I would say no, because it's really his story.
Okay.
The other games are the story, are not his story. This
Okay.
is the story of Ichiban, like, and I can't remember.
And I'm
the name.
assuming he's the guy with the Hawaiian shirt.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
And the
big
crazy
fro.
hair.
Yeah. And you got to start from 6. You got to start from Like a Dragon. But once you play that, and then you play Infinite Wealth, you're like, oh, okay, cool. His story is so cool. And it's funny just to see him try to piece his life together and try to make things happen. And you're just like, yo, this dude's a goofball, but he's a lovable goofball. And he just means
Okay.
the best. He just wants the best for his crew, and you could take that.
Okay.
as you-
No, that's because it's
someone-
been on my list, but I'm so daunted by the fact that it's number 6 or 7 in the series, and I'm like, well, where do I start? Like,
I hadn't
don't know.
played any of them either, and I picked up Like a Dragon.
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
or Infinite Wealth. Sorry, I didn't play 6. And I didn't feel like they do a good job of pretty much giving you a rundown at the beginning. So if you don't want to play 6, I had no
they'll
problem.
recap it. Yeah, they'll recap.
Yeah, I still really enjoyed what I played. I only fell off because I took a break from it, and when I got back, I had no idea what I was doing. And the way you do the leveling up and stuff of weapons and stuff in that game is kind of confusing, and I just I basically forgot where like my loop was, so I haven't gone back to it yet. But I definitely played a
Okay.
good like 25 to 28 hours probably of it.
Okay.
I
Alright,
really liked
'cause,
it,
yeah,
and I didn't play. I didn't touch
I'm-
one of the other games.
I just beat it. I just defeated Dagon in Jedi Survivor, so I'm pretty close to the end,
Oh, hell
and I'm
yeah.
looking for something to kind of pick up after that. So do you know what? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, check it out. There's
Good pick.
they have a mini game in there that's basically Animal Crossing with fighting.
No.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got sucked
Yeah,
in
they
that
do.
for a little bit.
That's
It's hilarious.
Love it.
That
Love
Gentoko
it.
Island or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like its own entire game. It's crazy. You can spend 2 hours there, or you can spend like 50 hours there. It's
Easily.
It's nuts.
It'll easily suck you in.
okay.
Cool.
That's
I'm
awesome.
in. You've sold me.
All right,
Yeah.
gents. I'm so sorry. I have to go pick up my daughter. But thank you for
No
having
worries.
me on, and I'll definitely be back.
Totally good. We're glad to
Uh,
have you, man.
You're good, bro.
Thanks for
It
joining
was
us.
good to talk to you.
It was good to
Yeah,
talk to
man.
y'all as well, man. We have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we will definitely.
Have
For
a great
sure.
day.
All right, y'all take care.
Later.
See you, bro.
All right. So we
Man,
got,
now you've got to like rearrange your squares.
I
mate.
do.
It's like
Yeah, it's all
Celebrity
wonky.
squares.
Give-
Can you just put an X through it? Like you've been eliminated.
Here's. Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna do.
While you're doing that, I'll talk about
Yeah,
mine.
what's your third? Yeah.
So my third was it was a toss up. It looks like all three of mine are all horrors or horror sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I put Hellblade 2 as my number 3.
Gotcha.
I again kind of like what Casualty said, like the length of it was perfect. I
Hey,
wouldn't
give me
want
one
to play
second.
that
Give me
game
one
for
second. I'm gonna
10
pause the
hours.
recording.
All right, so for my top 3, I've gone all horrors. I mean, you should know that about me by now. I like my horrors. I've gone with Hellblade 2 as number 3. It possibly could have been higher, or Still Wakes the Deep might have knocked it off. But I was halfway through Still Wakes the Deep when I did this. And yeah, Hellblade 2 was brilliant. Just like Buck said, the atmosphere alone was enough to carry me through.
Mhm.
And like he said, like the way that the audio works, and at the start everything's so negative, and then slowly but surely those voices, they start to change.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? Maybe I can do this. Maybe things are not so tough. And like it really resonated with me, especially like with my back injury. Like my mental health has just been put through the ringer.
Oh, I bet.
And so it really, I couldn't sit down.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life if I can't sit down?
Yeah.
And then like, things are not so bad. Things are getting better. Like it just, yeah, I loved it. And then the change from the kind of group combat to the one-on-one, it felt great.
Yeah.
I love
I
the
don't know-
combat in Hellblade 2.
Yeah, I don't know if like how much you like dove into the combat stuff, but like you had to time the attacks, and you'll be swinging, and if you did it too early or too late, she would kind of fumble with the attack, or you could change swing halfway through, like, and it's just such a small little thing that I don't even think I realized until halfway through how good the combat was.
Yeah.
And yeah,
They made a big mistake of putting the default combat difficulty on dynamic. I thought that was a huge mistake for them, because
Okay.
it made it way too easy at the beginning. Like, a lot of people I saw didn't like the combat, and the way they were describing the combat was a totally different experience than I had. And the only reason I changed it is because I had someone recommend it to me to change it to normal or even hard. Because if it's on dynamic, if you're getting your ass kicked, it immediately switches to easier. So technically it's really, really hard to die. So then people just keep getting hit, missing their attacks until they get their power up that lets you go into slow motion, and then you just go ham on the
Yep.
enemy, and it's boring. But when you put it to normal or hard, you have to parry, you have to dodge, you have to like
Mm-hmm.
catch like the axes that are thrown at your face. Like you got to do these things in the game, and it's not hard. Like it's not like you're playing a fucking Soulsborne. It's just it's deeper, and it makes it
Yeah.
so. I loved the combat. Like I was like, I wish there was more. And some people were saying it was the weakest part. I totally disagree with people who say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it's
Yeah.
fantastic the way that
Thank you.
the combat was.
And every fight seemed like a fight for your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you didn't feel like this like super overpowered sword fighter. You're just
Mhm.
like, sure, you're a soldier
Mhm.
and you can fight, but you're fighting dudes that are twice the size of you. Like you can't overpower someone like that.
Yeah.
Even if you're like an expert swordsman, all they need to do is just hit you and you're fucking done.
Yeah.
So like yeah, that hit my number 3 for me.
So, like, let's just keep rolling with this one because I spoiler alert, but that's my number one. It's what I voted
Okay.
for my top. I think it's a masterpiece. And Jeff, was it on your list as well?
It's my number 2.
It was your number 2. Okay, so that was going to
Yeah.
be your next thing you said. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
just keep rolling with this Hellblade 2 conversation because I am
Mhm.
1000% on your guys' page. I love the fact that Jeff, you were talking about the combat because I agree with you. While I was playing it, I'm just like, this is the game I've always dreamed of playing. Like, and I know that sounds over dramatic, but it's like this feels real. Like this feels realistic. The way it handles, the responses that she has, like you said, Fraser, it's like I am fighting for my fucking life. And
Mhm.
you feel that in the combat and you feel it outside of the combat.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
you know, it makes you really start to put yourself in those shoes and that position, and it kind of like I was having a hard time not like going off as soon as Commander Buck started talking about it, because it, you know, him talking about the struggles with uh, mental stuff,
Mental
right?
health.
Yeah,
Or, like,
mental
just,
health.
like, yeah.
Mental health, right. Yeah, because I've seen some people have a problem with the fact that there's, you know, they're like, well, what's it trying to say about mental health? It's not saying anything about mental health. And it's hard to not be offended when I see people talk like that, and I'm just like, oh, like you don't know what it's like then, or like you never had
Yeah.
somebody in your life have those struggles if you're sitting there saying that, because I mean it's it's a very spiritual experience. I've had family members in that position before, and the insight it helps give to what's going on in their heads is it's it's eye opening. So
Mhm.
that's yeah. I love that game so much. Trying to think of what more I could say about it. You know, the Fraser, when
I
we
also
were
found
talking about
Oh,
that
yeah.
game last time, my wife was sitting back on the couch like she is now, like overhearing us talk about it, and she's like, I think we were talking about our top 10 games or something like that, and she's like, I wrote down. She's like, I wanted to make sure I'm still fresh on what your top 10 are, so she like
Oh, that's
had
so
wrote down the
sweet.
notes. I know, right?
That's amazing.
And she
Yeah.
so she like names off the list and she put Hellblade on that list, and I'm like, huh. I was like, I wouldn't classify it as a top 10 game of all time, but she's like, are you serious? She's like, you talk about it all the time, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I can definitely see why you'd think that, because that game just speaks to me on a level that, like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you want to talk about the first game, because I replayed the first game before going into the second one, and as an older adult who has dealt with a lot of my own personal traumas at an older age, I'm like, I resonated even more with it the second time around than I did the first
Right.
time, because I'm seeing a lot of myself in these struggles that she's having. I'm seeing a lot of like dealing with generational trauma and chain breaking, and how it affects your relationships. And man, it's just absolutely like, it is art. Like there is no better way to describe it. It is art. Like that's about, I don't know. I could go on and on, but Fraser, what were you going to say?
I could only play it for like an hour at a time. It was
Really?
just so intense.
Yeah.
And like I would get to a point and I'd be like, do you know what? I feel like I can put this down and pick it
That's
up
kinda how
in
I
a
did
few
it, too.
days' time,
Mhm.
and I would stop every 30 seconds to fucking take screenshots of all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was just so beautiful, and
And
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
scary, that whole section in the caves and stuff.
Oh my gosh, the caves was the
You ever
best
seen
part.
The Descent? That's what that reminded
Oh,
me of, and I was like,
yeah.
ooh,
yeah, and like the torch is going out, and you're
yeah.
just like, well, what is? I'm done. I'm absolutely done.
I played that game twice back to back, and
Did you really?
I wouldn't do that with a bad game. And even if it's short, if I only do that with games I really, really like immediately I finished it. And I think I wanted to go for I only have like 3 games where I have 100%. And I only have like 1 platinum trophy, so it's very rare. And I was like, I'm gonna go back and get the collectibles. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start from the beginning and play through the whole thing again and grab them all. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really wish there was a physical version, man. I really
Man,
wish there was a
yeah.
steel
Same.
A
book.
collector's edition or
Same.
something.
Yeah, I hope they get a third. I really do, because I felt at the end like she is just a genuine badass, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
look up to her, and it's just I want a third, but
Yeah.
yeah.
who knows?
That'd round it out nicely, and then give us
Yeah.
a trilogy, special edition
Yeah.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam.
I'd
Yeah.
pay $350 for that.
Same.
Oh man,
Same.
you know, that actually reminds me, and this is a different conversation for a different day, but it's a great idea. It's, you know, the fact I love having Jeff and Russell on, because like this is the second time we've sat down for a podcast, and out of the 2 times we've come up with like 6 phenomenal ideas for a podcast. You know, but one of them is it's no secret that I listen to Kind of Funny literally every fucking day. And they were talking about this last year when Blessing made a comment on Kind of Funny about how he would rather skip his vacation, take his vacation time, stay home, and spend all of that money he was going to spend on the cruise and play Breath of the Wild. Or not, well, what was the one that came out last year? Not Breath of the Wild.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the
He's
Kingdom,
like, yeah, he's like, if that's what they asked me, if they asked for $1,000 and I had to take vacation to play it, he's like, I would pay $1,000, take vacation, and go play that game. And then it just kind of had me thinking, I'm like, what would, if I was to value a game, like what would I value it on? Let's just consider this a tease for a future conversation, because I think we can get lost really easily on this. But yeah, it just really had me thinking, and like some of the price tags I was putting on some of these games, like yeah, absolutely. So my brother, when I was talking to him about it, he was like, $10,000. I was like, oh hell yeah, I would pay a car payment for that game. I would pay a car payment for Halo. All right.
No
like,
wonder you don't give a shit about the Game Pass.
Hey,
price hike.
that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, listen, Halo. Oh my gosh, I'm fucking being contradictory. We're not going to talk about it, and I'm talking about it. So again, that's just a tease for a future podcast. But Jeff, what was your top one?
My last one's actually Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. I didn't play that one.
Yeah, that's my.
No, I haven't.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I haven't played it.
Oh yeah, that one. Anyone who's listening who doesn't know, that's the one that before came out, everyone just assumed, myself included, that it was just a. Well, I like to call it a thirst-person action game. It's like, that's what I got quoted. I said that in my review on YouTube, and people were like testing me. Did you say thirst person? I'm like, yeah, I certainly did.
That's
That's what I said. It. Because it was a girl with boobs and ass, like in abundance, and all the characters are sexy, and they're all like tight-fitting clothes, and I was like, that's probably what they're going for here.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna have like no substance. And then I played the demo, and I was like, okay, this seems like it could be pretty cool, but it's hard to tell from a demo because it's, short. And then I got the game, and I was like, holy shit, this is legit. Like, character action games are probably my favorite genre. So like DMC, like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is one of my favorite games. Like stuff like Bayonetta.
Okay.
Bayonetta, the first one, I should say.
So was that a compliment earlier when you were talking about Final Fantasy 16?
It was kind of, in a way. Like Final Fantasy 16 doesn't do Final Fantasy well enough, and it doesn't do Devil May Cry well enough. It's kind of like this weird in between.
Okay.
Where I like 16 more than Rebirth. That's for sure. I didn't really like Rebirth.
Okay.
But I feel it was too far away from Final Fantasy. I can see why people were mad. I liked it because I like character action, and it,
Okay.
for the most part, it was that. But it's not as good as the best character action games, if that makes sense.
No, that actually makes perfect sense.
Like this, Stellar Blade is a better character action game than Final Fantasy 16 is. It's great. It's got stories, whatever. Characters are kind of weak, but the action, the level design, the monsters, the bosses, it's got a good challenge to it. It's not like kick you in the balls type hard as some Soulsborne games are, but it is pretty tough, especially if you don't really know what you're doing. But it kind of has that, like, it's a slower paced Devil May Cry type game, and I loved it. It's got so many movesets. It's got good skill trees that aren't overwhelming. Like, you can look at them and be like, I can see what I'm gonna do here, and not be, like, it's not just stats screaming at you. I was surprised, man. I think it surprised all of us on Interactive Distractions. We all had like low expectations, and we all loved it. And all of us. I don't think Travis was that much of a fan, but the three of us were. And right now I think it's sitting at, well, my number one's Erdtree, but DLC, so that's questionable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that episode because I would love to hear more about it. I honestly haven't known enough. I've heard comparisons to Dark Souls. Every time I look at it, I'm like looking at a Devil May Cry type game. So yeah, I've been very confused as to what it is.
It borrows from both.
Okay.
It's Souls like in a way where there's like checkpoints and like shortcuts through the levels and stuff like that, but it's not as reliant on like a Souls type mechanic. It's just kind of like a slower paced.
Man, I just remembered Bright Memory exists. It's basically Bright Memory, but third person.
I never played Bright Memory.
It kind of going for the exact same feel. Like, it even has you do a shamelessly copy of a bonfire, like, and then you do a boss fight and stuff, and it's definitely going for that. It's a fun game. I
remember that was one of the first games they showed off for Series X, and I remember reviews weren't, because I think it did early access first, right?
Well, what it did was it dropped like a $5 demo. All right, like you paid $5 and you got like an hour of the game, and that was kind of like its early access. It was really confusing because to me, I'm like, is this the whole game? Because I knew it was made by only one person, and then like maybe a year later, it was just like this surprise drop, $20, and you got the whole game. So that was actually one of the games that I did risk, dropping the $20 on, and surprisingly, it's not that I was having a bad time. I had a really great time with it, considering it was made by one person.
Yeah, that's
$20. It was really good. Again, I only made it like halfway through though. Yeah, I would definitely recommend.
Okay.
But then Fraser, I can't remember. Help me out. Did you already list all three of them? Yours?
No.
Okay. Yeah,
no,
you want to go ahead and?
I only did number 3. So number 2, Alone in the Dark.
Okay.
And I think I'm the only person on the entire planet that liked it, to be honest. But I'm also okay with that.
Yeah.
I am, like I said, like that survival horror thing, the Cthulhu part, like the Cthulhu story. I never played the original. When I got it, I didn't realize that it was like a really loose remake as opposed to like a new story. I thought it was going to be like a new story, but it's based very heavily on the original one of like the 90s. And I really liked the fact that they brought in like real actors to be in this story. I mean, David Hub, he's Hopper. He's brilliant. He was perfect for it. There are definitely some weird things about it. I can see why it didn't get the like from people. Like I said, I'm a big horror fan. I do a lot of horror reading as well, and it has this old like kind of 80s 90s horror story vibe to it, where nobody actually knows what's going on. Things just happen, and you're like, oh, that happened. Cool. Let's move on to the next weird thing that's going to happen. The combat
like
was,
that.
yeah, and there were parts of it you're like, are you not even going to acknowledge that weird thing just happened? And they just brush, they just brush straight past it.
They're like, no. Okay,
yeah,
then. Moving on.
Yeah, that's right. It's got that cool old school Resident Evil feel to it, where there's puzzles. The puzzles are not insanely difficult, but they do require you to kind of think outside the box. Yeah, the combat was not brilliant, but I don't think it was supposed to be. You're kind of like an out of shape PI who has got some trauma that he's trying to live through, and you can fight, but kind of only just. So it was great, but then they brought on the second character. You could play through as David Harbour or Emily something. I can't remember what her last name is.
Blunt.
But you know when they did that with the Resident Evil remakes, and it's like it's the same story but from a different perspective.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. It's the same story.
Oh.
Just you play as
just
her.
a different character.
Huh.
Yeah.
Sure, there were a few parts where they went off on a different, like they do have their own like origin story, so you go off and do that with him versus doing that with her. But they could have married that up a lot better.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I love the aesthetic, like the 1920s New Orleans. It was cool. I really enjoyed it.
It's a great horror year for you.
Mm-hmm. It's been a brilliant horror year for me.
Did you play it came out a couple years ago. The name of it is totally spacing out on me. It was a horror kind of puzzle game that was big time hyped up for Xbox Series. It was exclusive for a while, and it's the one where you're walking through like all the vaginas basically. What's it called?
Wasn't Agony, was it?
No.
Scorn?
No.
Oh,
Scorn, yes.
Scorn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scorn.
Scorn.
I love how
Yeah.
you make that comparison. The game's like walking through a whole bunch of vaginas. I'm like, oh, I know what you're talking
Oh, I
about.
know that.
Scorn, I know that
Scorn,
one.
yeah. Yeah. That was.
Oh.
So I liked 90% of Scorn.
Mhm.
The combat was unnecessary.
It was bad, yeah.
From what I actually read, it was a last minute decision to throw in some combat, and it feels like it.
Yeah.
Like just wandering around this creepy thing. That's kind of like what Alone in the Dark was all about. It's all about setting the tone. You're wandering for ages, and you're just like, something's gonna happen.
No.
Something's got to happen at some point, and then nothing happens.
Nothing
You're
happens.
Like, oh, what?
I actually I personally don't like that game. I don't think it's that good, but that's one of the very few games that are like the 3 that I have 1,000 or 100% of the achievements. Yeah, because you basically get 1,000 just for playing it.
Turning it on. There was that one bit where you have to ice cream scoop that guy out of the
and you have to do two.
shell.
I had to go back and do that. Oh, that part was so gross too. Oh man.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I had to look up guides for like 80% of the puzzles because some of them were so obscure. I'm like, what the hell does woman? Sorry, we're going on a tangent. I just needed to ask you because I'm like, oh, you're into horror games, so
awesome.
if there's anyone who liked this game, it's gonna be you.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, so like back to Alone in the Dark. Like it was my number 2. The story was brilliant. The way that they attacked the combat was fun. The combat was difficult because it was not done so well. Like it made it better. Like you've got that weird Alan Wake dodge, you know, the kind of the scramble. There's just some weird things that they did, but as a whole, I loved it. I really loved it.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
I love when a game like that's not universally praised. There's like people who like really love it. Like everyone's got some of those games.
Let's see. I think we've got everybody, and we've got all of our top threes, right? Did I miss any?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you give your
yeah.
2?
I did not.
Yeah, did you give you? No.
I gave so Hellblade 2 was my number 1. Number 2 was Helldivers 2. And take mine with a grain of salt because I just haven't played that many like brand spanking new games this year. So as far as like games that's actually come out this year, it's like I'm scraping the barrel when I was writing things in. And I know Hypercharge didn't really come out this year, but I was going to list Hypercharge 3 as my third game. But I didn't know if it'd necessarily make the cut as far as being a game that released this year. So I put Destiny Final Shape as my
I think
third.
it would count.
And
Let's
Destiny,
say
at first I was
that's,
like,
that's a
did
DLC.
Hypercharge?
That's a
Yeah, that's more. I'd say that one has more of a chance of not making the cut than Hypercharge.
really? See, I would have
Yeah,
thought
'cause
the
it's
other
a-
way around because
we
I'm
did
like,
the
well, Final Shape is a full price game or addition to a live service game, so I would have
okay.
I would have made the link that like, oh, it's a full blown game. But
Yeah.
I can see
I
what
mean,
you're
it was
saying. I didn't think
100
about it that way.
$150, mate, for a
Oh my
DLC.
gosh.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a new game. It's
That's
a
a
I'm
new
not gonna
game.
get used to that whole
Yeah.
price thing in Australia. That's shit. Oh
And
my
Hypercharge
gosh.
is a new. It wasn't on console, so that's why I'd give that one a pass. too.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, then yeah, Hypercharge. I've got rules with Game of the Year. I don't count DLC. I don't count remakes. And honestly, my number 1 would be Power World this year, except it's still early access, so it's not technically released. So,
Gotcha. Yeah,
at least in my opinion.
the only
Well, if you're
thing-
giving it to Destiny, I'm taking mine back, and Erdtree's getting my number 1.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's
it wasn't.
fair.
It wasn't out
That's
by
fair.
the time we did this list anyway. So
That's fair. That's fair. See, Destiny 2, even when I wrote it down, that was what I was going to say about it, is when I wrote it down, I hadn't even finished it yet until a couple nights ago I finished it, and I feel pretty solid about that choice. After playing the final mission, holy crap,
Dude, it's
what
hard.
a way.
That final mission was hard.
It went really hard, and I was like, I
Yeah.
saw the queue. I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody, but I saw the queue for how many people were going to be in there, and I'm like, what the hell am I playing? I was like, I had to go back and make sure I was in the right mode. I watched the cutscene, backed out, and then restarted it because I thought I hit the wrong thing, and I'm like, oh wait
Because
a minute,
what
is...
other Destiny game has 12
not done
fucking
that.
players in a fire team?
It's not done that ever. Like, and what a way to just like be like round out like their 10-year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think they're going to continue going. But I think that's it for their premium add-ons or whatever the hell you want to call
Or
it.
for
I mean,
2
look at the
until 3.
confusion it's caused right here. So it's like I don't
Yeah.
know what the hell to call it, but yeah, those are my.
Can you
top
single
three.
player it? Can you play through it by yourself?
Oh,
the story mode like
yeah.
you could the other ones?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, the final
just really
shape
hard.
felt like it was supposed to be for one person. I wish I would have been able to have Fraser. I gotta get with you, man. So like, I really want to go through that on Legendary. You can go on their website and they like you can buy if you beat it on Legendary the campaign you can like buy this like little medal or whatever. I'm geeking out for it. I was like,
Dude, I did that with Warframe.
Did you?
When you get to max rank on Warframe, you can get it. You can buy a little like mastery rank pin.
Oh shoot, that's so cool. That's something Bungie's just always done right is like have that physical store locked behind like completing stuff in game
Content.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
I wish more people would do that. So now that we've all laid out what our top 3 were, what we voted for,
I haven't done my number 1 yet.
oh, you haven't? Oh, go for it, man.
No, and I don't think did you do yours, Casualties, number 1?
He did all 3 as
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
my number 1 was Crow Country.
Okay.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
I thought that was your
So number
3.
1
Okay.
for me was Banishers.
Okay, yeah.
Really? See,
yeah.
I didn't. That was one
Ghost
of
of
the
New
ones I
Eden.
didn't.
This close to making my list. Very,
Yeah.
very close. That
It
would probably
was.
be like 4th.
Fucking incredible. My only gripe with it was too long.
Yeah.
Overstated.
like,
slightly.
Especially if you
were-
wanted to do this, like most of the stuff and get the
Yeah,
cool
And-
armor and stuff, you really had
Yeah.
to put a lot of hours into it.
yeah. I don't know how many hours I put into it, but there was at one point I was like, "Fuck, are we still going?" Like, like how
I mainlined
the-
it after a while.
the just the story that love story, the ghost love story, it just was brilliant. The story alone was my number one. Like the combat was fine, the mechanics were fine, everything was fine, but the story was just fucking incredible. And the way that you solved the cases was great. It kind of gave me that like that Batman detective feel.
Yeah.
Like you can go in
Really?
and you can solve it, and then you can go and then you can be like, this is your fucking fault that this happened, and just cut them down. Or you can be like, look, I understand why you did this.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna banish the ghost. Everyone's gonna be happy. Like it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
One of the
gotta
most
be a
successful
Batman.
games on Gamer Social Club so far too, in terms of
Yeah.
like the amount of people playing it at one
Yeah.
time.
I went through and I just fucking annihilated everyone. It was
Vengeance.
yeah, they were like, oh no, but these are the reasons why I did it. It's like, yeah, but you still fucking did it. What banish. Banish. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. And I think I was the only one in the social club that did that. Everyone else was
I changed. I didn't go fully one way or the other.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now,
Yeah, I
did
went
that
and got
impact
the-
your ending?
Yes, it did. I actually, personally, I think I got the good ending
Really?
from doing that.
By banishing everybody?
Yeah,
Wow.
because you're collecting their life essence to bring her
Bring
back
your
to
wife
life.
back. Yeah. It's
And-
the, I guess, the selfish ending, I guess.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I was just like, if I was in this situation, fucking, I'm
Probably
doing
do the
that
same.
too.
Yeah, everyone, whether you think Joel did the bad thing in Last of Us, the first one, every motherfucker would have done the same thing he did.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say, because that was
Yeah.
the first thought
Yeah.
that came to my mind. I'm like, yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Perfect call, too.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, that
Great
was my
minds.
number one. It was so many collectibles. I didn't get the 100%. I'm not gonna get the 100%. I've got what I want from it, and yeah, so far it was top notch.
Collectibles.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck him.
Yeah.
I hate him.
I hate him so much.
Yeah.
I was not lying when I told Joe. I'm like, dude, you're the first person to get me to give a shit about collectibles. That was fucking cool. I'm just like accidentally stumble upon this collectible behind the garage tool. Like, I'm like, this is cool.
Oh, that's rare for me, yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very rare.
And because you get something for getting the collectibles in Hypercharge, like
Yeah,
Yes.
that helps.
the-
Especially, is it, but do you have to get like 100 of them to get something, or is it
No.
like every
Nope,
10 you get
just
something?
the
No,
level.
just
There's
one.
like 3 of them.
Oh.
Wait,
yeah, there's 3
okay.
per level.
So, yeah, that's the way it should be.
And you get a collectible and it unlocks like that thing that you got.
Yeah, I've never liked that shit, man. Even back when I was like a kid, like Banjo Kazooie and all those games, I did not like them just because that's
No.
what those games were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Mario fan. Sorry, guys. Anyone listening?
Well, I feel so bad for any Nintendo person listening to this, because like anytime Nintendo gets brought up, although it was nice
Oh, they
having
should
Buck
have
on
heard
and
us
saying
off the
some
air.
nice things about Nintendo.
I enjoy Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's right.
The guy with the Mario shit in his background.
Yeah. I do like Mario.
Um,
I just don't get every coin. Like people like, how do you not get all the? How you beat Odyssey? How many things did you get? I don't know. Whatever the minimum was to finish the game.
dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
same. All right, so the top 5 of the year.
This is the group?
This is the group. This is what the community voted on. So it goes like this. Number 5 was Crow Country, and it tied with Helldivers 2.
Okay.
People
I
really
didn't
fucking
play.
loved Crow Country.
I didn't play it. It's on my list,
Something
definitely,
I didn't play either.
but I haven't.
If-
I
I did
haven't
not
played
play
if
it
you're a
either.
horror fan, if you're a horror fan, particularly of the old Tank Control, Resident Evils, and Silent Hill,
Yeah.
you need to play Crow Country.
Yeah.
You really do.
I've only heard amazing things about it. I've just been swamped recently, and I think I've done 3 or 4 reviews in the last week, and it's been brutal.
So what's the
So now I've got some time for myself now.
so what's the time sink for Crow Country?
It's only
Oh
like
God.
2 hours, isn't it?
Oh,
Isn't it real short?
No, it's not like that. I think the average is somewhere around 8 hours.
Oh, yep.
okay.
Yep.
I mean, I could give you my Steam time, but it's not. I usually take a little bit longer to finish things,
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah.
I don't know how good of a
got-
metric that would be.
Got to take those screenshots, mate. I understand.
Yeah.
I
I don't know
understand.
if Crow Country is a screenshot game, but I will say it does tank controls, but the second stick is your camera, which is super fucking useful.
Oh, that would
yeah.
solve a lot of problems with those games for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So number 4 is
Cool.
actually one that nobody listed. It is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I've heard really amazing.
It's my number
things.
5.
Is your number 5? Do you
Currently,
want
it'd
to
be
talk about
number
this?
5 or 4. That would switch between probably Banishers and Prince of Persia. I really like Prince of Persia. Is probably like my second favorite Metroidvania game. I think.
Okay.
Interesting.
I only
I didn't
played the
play it.
demo and I wasn't a big fan. I just
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why it just wasn't calling to
Didn't
me.
click with you.
No, it just didn't click with me. Do you want to talk about it?
I mean,
no.
I don't think I can say
It's
anything
number
that would
5 on
kind of
my
sway
year.
you.
Fuck it.
Like, yeah, I mean, do you usually like Metroidvanias?
Nah.
Then it's not for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing I say could possibly be like make you be like, yeah, I'm gonna spend money on that game.
Okay. So it's just a very solid Metroidvania.
It's a very solid, really, really, really good combat.
Okay.
Pretty good level design. Characters are awesome. Story's pretty great, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's like as AAA as a Metroidvania could be. That still looks AA, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
mechanically, AAA in terms of like that genre, it's like a AAA containing that genre. I put it there with like Metroid Dread and like even Symphony of the Night.
So Russell, where are you on that game? Have you played it? Going to play it? Because you're like really big into Metroidvanias, aren't you?
that's the Prince of which
The
one? The
Lost
Prince
Crown.
of Persia, the Rogue. Oh, the
no.
Lost
No,
Crown.
it's
I don't
the Lost
think-
Crown, the one that came out like earlier this year. It
Okay,
came out like
we got
Rogue
the
one is-
Rogue.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got the Lost Crown, and then there's another one coming up in August, I think, too.
Oh, lots of Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
There's like a remake of Sands of Time or something, I think, or something like that. That's
Or
Does it have the Jake Gyllenhaal skin?
bro.
If
I think the
can't-
old ones. might
okay,
have.
so
If I can't
so
be Jake
wait, the
Gyllenhaal, I'm
Lost
not playing it.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is already on console. Oh, you know what? That's probably okay. I'm looking at the Steam page and it says it comes out in August. But maybe it's an Epic exclusive. Ubisoft likes to do that with Epic a lot, so maybe that's
it's
honestly
already out on
haven't-
PC. Yeah,
yeah. It's just not on Steam, probably.
probably. Yeah.
I don't buy things off of the Epic Store. It's just not a great launcher. I'm not beholding to Steam. I own plenty of things off of GOG as well. It's just Epic is I claim all the free games, but it's a shit launcher.
So I have a
So
question
I haven't
about.
played it. I will have to get back to you.
I have a question about this launcher thing. So I've been a console gamer like my whole life. I own a PC, and I reckon maybe the last 8 months I've been diving into PC gaming and stuff. Like, what do you mean it's a bad launcher? Like, what?
So
It's-
here's the Epic Games is supposed to be like Steam's big competitor. In my
Yeah.
opinion, in order to be a competitor to Steam, you need to offer something they don't do. I like GOG because GOG is completely DRM free. There is no digital rights management in any of their games at all.
Yeah.
It also leads to them having a lot of older stuff that a lot of other launchers won't have. Epic is like kind of trying to do what Steam does, but doesn't do any of it as well, and they give you free games.
I was gonna
what-
say,
what
what
do you
about
mean
the free
trying-
games?
What do you mean trying to do what Steam? Like, what does Steam do? It's a store that I can buy games from. Like, what?
Well, right, but so like Steam has an awesome refund policy.
Yeah, okay,
If you've bought
yeah.
something, if you've bought something and your playtime's under 2 hours, you can get it refunded usually, no questions asked.
Yep.
There was the big thing the day before last year, that scam game.
Yeah,
They
mhm.
literally just refunded everyone's money and fucking blasted that thing from the internet. A lot of launchers and a lot of companies won't do stuff like that. Now,
Okay, yeah.
Steam's been sued into oblivion for some of this stuff, so you got to keep that in mind. They're still a big corporation, but it's just better in my opinion. And obviously GOG, no digital rights management, so you don't have to worry about companies coming back in and adding DRM or screwing with your game too much, thankfully. So
Frazier, for people like you and I who are console gamers, it doesn't make a difference to us.
Okay,
It's like
cool.
you buy the game, you play it.
Yeah.
If we already don't care about the backdoor stuff, so
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
like,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's always something that I've been like wondered about because there's so many different. Is it just like me going to say like fucking JB Hive Life versus EB Games? Like, are they just? Is it just a
Pretty
different
much.
store?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing about the Prince of Persia thing because we joked about it last week how I was the lowest score for Tales of Kenzara.
Oh yeah.
Zhao, because I was the 7.
Yeah.
If I didn't play Prince of Persia literally like a couple weeks before that game, I probably would have given Zhao a 1 point higher score. Like that's why, because I was like, this is similar, but it's just not as good as Prince of Persia for me. So I'm like, I gotta give it a lower score because I would probably give Prince of Persia like an 8 overall. And keep in mind when I'm rating for myself, like for these kind of things, I rate it on a different scale than if I'm doing it for like an actual review for the public.
Yeah.
Because public, I try to be more objective with other people's taste, not just my own.
Yeah.
So yeah. So think of Prince of Persia as like almost the top of that list, and like Tales is like just below it. So I'm assuming you didn't play Zhao then, Dragon?
No, I didn't play Zhao. I was just, as you were saying all that, it made me think about our first Descendant conversation and how I probably would have been even higher on it myself if it wasn't for the fact that I have been and still am playing the Final Shape. So it's it's hard to.
You gotta, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing the review personally, you have to compare it to other stuff that you were playing and be like, well, is it like this? For other people, different. If I'm writing a review for someone else, then I'm like, or like for the public to be like, what would I give the score for the public? Yeah,
Right.
different. But Prince of Persia is awesome.
Okay.
Play it. More people need to play it because they laid off. I think they laid off people from that dev, didn't they?
I
they
don't
did.
think it was. Was it massive though? Like I think it was like some people got laid off.
No, it wasn't a lot. It's a small. It's a small team.
Well, I think EA's strategy so far has been like we're gonna do a little bit. We're gonna sprinkle the layoffs like here and there, kind of like. And I think Ubisoft is doing the same that way, as to not like garner a whole bunch of attention. I think.
Yeah.
So the next game is Dragon's Dogma 2. That one, but like it got it placed in number 3 with 11 points. I've been forgetting to like lay out the points. So like Crow Country and Helldivers 2, they got a 9 point. They both got 9 points in votes, so it was a tie. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown won by 10 points. Like so, it's in 4th place by only 1 more point higher. Dragon's Dogma 2 also only got 1 more point higher than Prince of Persia.
Okay.
I don't. Have we all played that game? Because I haven't.
I have.
No. Okay.
I have.
Okay.
I have not.
Okay. So was that anywhere near your guys' list? Was it a 4 or 5, or just wasn't even in the conversation when you were thinking about it?
So for me, I was weaning back and forth in between Still Wakes the Deep and Dragon's Dogma for my number 3.
Okay.
I like Dragon's Dogma 2 a lot. In some ways, it felt like the first game, just not quite as good. It's a little hard to describe if you haven't played the first one, but it's like on the border of being a remake, kind of, sort of. Story-wise and whatnot. There's definitely, again, to be the digital foundry dude, there's definitely performance issues on PC. They're getting better. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix them completely. There's a couple bigger cities where the frame rate just tanks.
Right.
It's not an issue on console because they cap it at 30. If you're running it at 60 throughout the game, I get drops into like the 35-40 range, so it is it is a little jarring. I can totally play games at 30, no problem, but when you're playing most of the game at 60 and then you got a couple areas where it just like tanks like that,
Yeah.
definitely breaks immersion.
Right.
That's
Um,
100% noticeable.
Yeah, it's getting better. I don't, from what they've talked about with the game, I won't get into the technical shit, but I don't know if they're going to be able to fix it completely. It would be nice. I would say Dragon's Dogma 2 would have made it in my top 3 if it wasn't for the way they did the fast travel shit.
Mm-hmm.
It works kind of, sort of. There's the thing with the stones and the 10 stones. There's other ways to do it too, with like getting rides from carriages in certain cities, but you have to be in the cities at certain times of day for that to even be an option.
Okay.
I know they were like bragging. Capcom was like, you don't need to fast travel because our open world's not boring. Nah, there's parts of their open world that's kind of boring and would be better to
Yeah.
just go through once or twice. So
Okay, right. So yeah, I fell off Dragon's Dogma. I started it twice.
Oh wow.
First off, I started with a like a sword and shield, straight
Okay.
off like warrior type. And then I ran into a part where there were like flying enemies and I couldn't fucking hit them, and I was like, well, this is stupid. Like I didn't have any, for whatever reason, I didn't have anyone in my party that had any ranged sort of thing at all.
Yeah.
So I restarted and I was like, cool, I'll be the archer and I'll have my party of fighters and mages or whatever. I kind of like what Casualty said, like it's too big.
That's what she said.
I'm really enjoying the smaller games at the moment, the shorter games. Saying that, like Valhalla is one of my favorite games of all time, and there's a massive time.
How long ago did you play it though?
oh, there's
500 hours?
companies.
No. I mean, how long ago did you play it?
Oh right, yeah, you're right. Maybe
Yeah,
a
yeah,
year
you
and
could be in a
half.
totally different mindset now because you've
Yep.
like I went through
Yep.
a phase where I was playing all these long games in a row, and I just got burnt out on long games. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yep. Even like I wanted to pick up the expansions for Far Cry 6, and I loaded it in, and I was like, man, I'm done with Far Cry at the moment. It's too big. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just like I found, like you said, like our world isn't boring, but I found it boring.
Yeah.
I was wandering off in this direction, and sure, you're getting into some fights, but they weren't interesting fights.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too it's too complicated for me. Maybe I just needed something a little bit simpler. But yeah, I fell off it pretty hard.
Did you play the first game or no?
I definitely played it. I'm struggling to remember how I felt about it. Like it was it was that long ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it really left an
would go
impression,
back
is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you wouldn't like it. I would go back and try the original. For me, I like the original better. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it didn't get on my list at all.
All right. Well, that's probably why it only got third place by literally a point. Like, I mean, it's crazy that 3, 4, and 5 were only off by like 1 point each. Because you start to take a big jump up when you get to Banishers. Ghost of New Eden made number 2 with 16 points. So it won out by like 5 more points, which isn't a surprise, especially considering like how everything we've said about it tonight and the fact that like everybody in our group has been very high on it.
As a community, we loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is apparently I need to play it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is I haven't even played it. So it didn't get my vote. It didn't get Russell's vote. So it's kind of crazy that it still won out by that much points and we still got some people.
That didn't get my vote either.
So to be fair with the Discord group, I got in on the Discord group really early, like last December when Dano launched it. And then like I just kind of ghosted the group for months. And then I saw Dano post something about needing writers for the website or something. And then I sent him a message or posted something. And I was like, hey, I wish I would have known about that earlier. He's like, no, we still need writers. And so now in the last like 2 months, I've gotten really into the Discord group. Yeah. So that as far as that, I wouldn't have voted for that. I wouldn't have played that. I wouldn't have I don't know when it launched. I know it's this year at some point, but
I think it was
I
February.
don't know
was
exactly.
February.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was February.
Yeah.
I-
The back in February, there was also some personal shit still going on. It's not the time or place for that, but
Oh yeah.
I would have been really into that, and like new games were
Mhm.
not really even on my radar at that point. So
Mhm.
I was still playing Baldur's
Yeah.
Gate 3, man. I was right there with you. Like
Oh, so
I
good.
started Baldur's Gate at the beginning of January, and then I was playing that until like mid-March. So yeah, my
Right.
20.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't gotten to very many new games. And then number one half. I was gonna say game of the year. Oh hey, hell yeah, that's awesome. I would
Yeah.
love to pick that up.
I haven't even opened it yet. I mean, I played the game. I own it already and beat it,
Yeah,
but I had to get the physical edition once they announced that.
Yeah.
that's sick.
I think it's still available. I think you can still
Yep.
get it.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can.
yeah, you can.
It just takes 6 months to arrive.
Um,
Yeah.
And then, of course,
Banishers was done by Don't Nod.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then I definitely need to play this.
Yeah. The same team that did Vampire. Vampire.
yeah, that vampire game. I forgot about.
Don't
Yeah.
Nod did. I don't know if Banishers is anything like this. Probably not. But they did the first couple Life is Strange games too, which I really liked.
Yeah, they're nothing like those.
But
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't. It
story,
doesn't look anything.
No.
It doesn't look anything like that. So
but like the quality of story is there.
Oh, yes.
Like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's a story game. Like
Yep.
that's what you're there for.
100%.
So the one winning out game of the year so far is Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2, which won out by 21 points. So if
That
I
surprised
had,
me.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like if I hadn't have voted for that, just me, my vote alone, if I hadn't have voted for it, it would not have it would have tied with Banishers. So and then Dano also goes on to shout out some of the other votes. Let's see. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, Paper Mario, Persona 3 Reloaded, Another Crab's Treasure, Russell, Still Wakes the Deep, Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Alone in the Dark, Destiny 2 The Final Shape. Hey, that's me. I'm literally the only one who voted for it. Tales of Kanzara's out, Ultros 9 Souls, Tin Hearts VR, Animal Well, Outcast 2, A New Beginning. I'm pretty sure Dano was the one who did the Outcast 2 one. So
And I think Eddie was the Tin Hearts VR.
Yeah.
He was frothing on that for ages.
yeah, I swear I only know the name of that game because of Addy. So that's awesome. So that should round out our game of the year so far. I've personally run out of time, so I really want to do this. So let's try to do it quickly. I'm sorry. I don't mean to rush you guys. But like, if you guys just one by one share, what game do you think is gonna take the crown at the end of this year, as far as game of the year?
Personally?
So far, yes, personally, not for us as a social club, but your personal game of the year. What do you think it's going to end up landing on? Jeff, you go.
Oh, no, please don't go to me first.
Fraser.
Doom. It's gonna be Doom.
Wait, I thought that comes out
Yeah.
next year.
Doom's next year.
Doom's supposed to be next year.
Yeah, it's next
Fuck,
year.
is it?
Oh,
Yeah, that
Oh,
would have been
well,
my number
alright.
one with a bullet
Yeah.
if it was this year.
Yeah.
Man.
I have two. I have
I can
two
see
on
you
my
just
radar.
checking
While
out of this year completely.
My life,
right
Yeah.
now.
my life has just been shattered.
I feel so horrible.
Oh, no.
What do you mean?
Oh,
I feel like
That
this happened with
reaction
somebody
broke my
else
heart.
recently too, and they were like, "Wait a second, what's not this year?" And they were like so gutted. And we were like, "No."
Yeah.
he looks like he died a little bit there. He really does.
I did.
I had
I
that
did.
reaction with Killing Floor 3 because Killing Floor 3 was supposed to come out this year, and they finally
Yeah.
dropped a trailer, and they're like, "Oh, at 2025 sometime." I'm like, "Sons of bitches."
Little Nightmares 3 did that here. They were supposed to come out at some point this year, and I was really and I'm still looking forward to it, but now I got to wait till at least next year, and that kind of pissed off about that. But I guess I'll go. I have two games on my radar. One I might get a little shit for if people watch this, and the second one I'm totally probably gonna get shit for. I got my eye on Silent Hill 2 remake.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm worried about performance because of the gameplay. I do think there's a lot of criticisms that are at least a little overblown, some really overblown. There's talk about Maria and how she's like covered up. Yeah, she is sexual in the original, and it does affect the story if she's not. She still looks like a streetwalker. So until I play the game, I don't know how that's going to pan out. There's other criticisms that are stupid and somewhat political that aren't even really worth getting into. But I got my eye on that. The one I might take some crap for, Rugrats, Adventures in Gameland. Hear me
Love it.
out.
I'm
I love
sorry.
it.
What? Rugrats? Really?
Okay, I played the demo.
This is why we
on
have to
Steam
have
earlier
Russell
this
on,
year.
guys. Holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah,
This is
no. Did y'all ever play Super Mario 2, the
Yes.
USA release?
Yes.
I
It
have.
plays a lot like that. It plays a
Huh.
lot like that.
Really?
Yeah, I actually watched I forget where he went. I was watching Bob Wolf's YouTube channel, and he went to some game convention thing, and it was usually a higher ranking games and shit there, and he kept talking about that demo, and so I was like, I gotta check this out. And yeah, I'm hooked. I'm buying it. I even have the physical pre-ordered through Limited Run, which
I
that
mean,
is
hey,
another
the limited
conversation.
run
That
game
company.
looks awesome.
That's,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you'll get
so,
it in 2027?
Yeah, that's the thing I was gonna say about Limited Run. If I've dealt with them enough personally, where if I am still gonna pre-order a game, I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, the demo is awesome, so I can't imagine the game not being. I know that sounds ridiculous.
No, it doesn't sound
But yeah,
ridiculous.
those are my two. I don't know if Rugrats is gonna be a game of the year, but I'm got my
It might
eye
be
on
your game of the year.
it.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, as far
That's
as Silent Hill
fair.
2, we'll see.
Yeah.
Remakes, and the other thing is, Konami. I do not trust them. They have shit on us a lot, particularly with the Silent Hill franchise. So they got to earn my trust back with this one. So we'll see, but I'm cautiously
Cool.
optimistic about it.
Okay. That's
Okay.
hey, that's fair. I love the fact that you're just
Yep.
like, I don't give a fuck. It's Rugrats, bitches. Then Jeff, what's yours?
I'm good, yeah. There's a few big ones that I think might make it that are really big, but the one that I think I'm really looking forward to, and I have been since it's been announced, and it's not even for sure coming this year, but it's supposed to be, and that's Replaced. I'm not sure
Oh
if you
my
guys
God.
remember that.
So there is someone at work who does not play games, and he is like, "Have you seen this replaced?" And I was like, "No. What is this?" And I looked it up. It looks incredible.
It looks so fucking good, and it's like
Yes.
it's a smaller dev. They're based out of Ukraine. That's why it's been delayed a bunch.
Right.
Oh,
And I just think it looks, the art style, the way that the animation is, everything. It's like, I like, if it's a Metroidvania type game, again, that pulls on my heartstrings, right? That's what I
Mhm.
want. Talks to
Yep.
me. I mean, I want to go like indie or Avowed, but it's like, I think I know what those games are going to be, and I
Yep.
think right now my top 3 are pretty good. I think Replaces the one I think that it might, if it turns out as good as I think it's going to be, or I want it to be, I shouldn't say think, that I want it to be good. I think that might be my game of the year at the end.
yeah, this
Oh,
game
yep.
was shown at the Xbox Showcase, wasn't it? Because it's coming to Game Pass.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, this game
Yep.
does look phenomenal. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks gorgeous. My top 3 is 100% gonna change. 100%. Fucking Space Marine 2.
I would have put money on
Oh, I
that.
forgot
I
that
would
was-
have put money
yeah.
on
Get
what it said.
in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited about it. We've talked about this before. Like, I'm trying my hardest not to play live service games this year. I've broken my vow, and I've dived back into a few, but dude, it just looks so
Wait,
good.
it's a live service game?
Yeah.
Oh, that you just killed it for me.
So it's there's well, I don't know how live service it's gonna be,
Mhm.
but there's gonna be a battle pass, like a cosmetics battle pass. There's a 3-player end game like dungeon thing going on,
Okay.
and then there's like the 6-player multiplayer. So I reckon the end game content is kind of, I mean, it's three-player co-op versus hordes. So it's going to be like a horde mode or something like that. I'm fucking excited.
As
It
long
looks
as they
so
do the live
good.
service stuff with taste and they like do the right
Yeah.
things,
Yep.
I'm fine with it because I mean everything you are describing, everything I've heard about it, I'm on board with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
put money on that.
That Frostpunk 2.
Okay.
I just want some child slavery in my life.
Who doesn't? I mean, really? Like,
I mean,
Right?
Cow World,
Right.
Soul Mask, and now
yeah.
Frostpunk.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And Assassin's Creed Shadow. Like,
Oh, I forgot that's this year. Dude, this is yeah.
It makes
that
it really tough, huh? What was the
say
other
what
two
you
were
will
gonna
about
say, Jeff?
Assassin's.
Sorry,
Because you only said one. What was the other two you were gonna say?
I said I was gonna go with either like a little indie or Avowed, but then I was like, but then there's also Star Wars 2 that I forgot. That's out at the end of
Yeah.
fucking
Fuck.
August.
Avowed's out this year too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like,
That
and you
one
just
could
said,
do it for me too.
yeah, and Star Wars, like, I mean, not Star Wars. Like, I totally forgot Assassin's Creed. Like, I didn't even think about it. But the reason I didn't think about it is because I don't really get excited for them. But this one, I am actually pretty excited for.
Mm. And we're getting
I
a
don't know.
lollipop chainsaw as well. That should
I
be.
played the original of that. it's
It's a
thing.
game.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a game. Yeah, you can definitely
It's
play
a game
it.
that exists.
Yep.
I'm trying to get my wife over here.
Oh,
here.
come on, darling.
Yeah. So it's my turn to say what my personal game of the year I think it's going to be at the end of the year. Do you want to tell them what it's going to be? You know.
I don't know what it is.
You
Oh
know?
man, yeah. She's like giving me a blank look right now. She's like, I don't know.
Oh, well, I know we've talked about it.
Oh yeah.
But you're putting me on the spot.
She's like, you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
You can't think.
No pressure.
Fraser.
He has that effect on people.
Fraser should know, right?
Oh,
Not
now I'm
putting me on the
blanking.
spot.
Oh, Dragon Age.
Fraser got it. It's
Oh.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Dragon Age came out this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now she's
Yeah.
mad
Yeah, I
at
forgot
herself.
that was this year too.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
there's way too
Dragon
many.
Age, hands down. I mean, it's going to have to severely
Yeah.
disappoint me, but even at that, it doesn't have to disappoint me too severely for it to become Assassin's Creed Shadows at that point.
Yeah.
Because Assassin's Creed Shadows is like, I think, because, okay, I was thinking about this earlier today. Man, I really got to wrap up. But, like, you know, you were talking about this the other night, Fraser, how you were saying how your hot take is the new RPG trilogy is better than the old trilogy. And I got to thinking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I'm like, hey, this is their chance to combine both of those crowds into one. Everybody who's cared about stealth and wanted that, like, you got the one character that's all about stealth, and then you got the one character that's more of a warrior. It's still like a big RPG, but they've toned it down back to Assassin's Creed Origins. Like, this map is going to be about the same size. So as soon as I heard that, I'm like, perfect. Or that, I loved Origins size. I thought it was perfect. I thought we were getting a little bit too big with Odyssey, and then Valhalla, fucking forget it. It was just way too big for me. I would much rather. That's what she said. But like, and then I just, yeah, man. I think with Assassin's, this new one, it's gonna hit both mediums, and not only that, but as a long-term Assassin's Creed fan, this is everything we've been asking for a really long fucking time. I remember seeing articles shoot when that 2D side scroller, I know it's old because it fucking came out on the PSP, or maybe it was the Vita. Maybe
There was 3 of them. There was like
There-
Russia.
There's 3 China.
in India.
Yeah, and people were like, "We're finally getting our Assassin's Creed in China game," and I was like, "Oh, sick!" And then I clicked on that article and never been more disappointed in my life, to the point that I'm still thinking about it. So it's like we're here, we're getting the dream Assassin's Creed game. It's hitting both markets. I'm beyond stoked for it, but you know, like I said, it's still going to be Dragon Age. I mean, it's going to have to do some serious failings to, you know, get knocked down off that pedestal. Like, yeah, but I mean, hell, dude, that doesn't. You know, you brought up Space Marine 2. I'm excited about that stuff too. So, I don't know.
People saying 2024 is weak for games.
It's not.
They're fucking insane.
They're absolutely
They're
insane.
fucking stupid.
I mean, last year was a fucking lightning in a bottle year for gaming, and it's not going to happen again. I'd be very surprised. We would need another COVID for that to happen.
2007 in my opinion was the last year that was as good of a year as last year, and that was almost 20 years apart. Well, it was more than 20 years apart.
Yeah.
So, oh no, it wasn't. I'm math good.
Almost 15 or so.
I guess it was close.
Hey, it makes me feel better.
Say what you will about Assassin's Creed. Everyone loves it. People that even say that they hate it, they'll still play it. Everyone will play it. Everyone has an opinion.
It's like Call of Duty, man.
Yes,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Call of Duty, Madden, basketball games, soccer games. Yeah, you name it.
There's a reason these games sell the most. It's because they hit a market that they're attractive to the wide audience of the gaming audience. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, like I didn't like the direction they went with Mirage. I felt it was they simplified it too much, but it was still fine. Like they'd have to do, like you said, they'd have to do something pretty drastic for me to be like, I don't like this anymore. What they need to do is get all the good bits from all of the games and put them in one game. They've like Brotherhood, where you could build your own like creed and you could call on them during combat. Like that's fucking awesome. Gone. We haven't seen that again. Like,
Well, let's go ahead and end the cast there, guys. We've been going for a while, and we also did the Xbox little episode here tonight as well. So we may have ran this episode for an hour and a half, but we've been here for a little over 2 hours. So thank you guys so much for your time tonight. I've had a great time. And then
good.
I know
Same.
Friday night we're going to be talking about Alone in the Dark. Oh my god!
No, once human. It's all right, bro. I'll keep us on track.
The engine is starting to get sputter a little bit. We're gonna be talking about the game you just said.
Once human.
Yep. And
and wow. Based on Steam reviews, I'm gonna have a lot to say about that game.
Well, it's only come out today, right?
It came out today.
Okay. Yeah,
There's some things going on the back end of this game though that people are not happy about.
Okay. Well, we will definitely dig into that Friday night.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Be sure to check out the Xbox episode. Check out the new episode coming out next week. Check out last week's episode when we reviewed the First Ascendant. Check out the episode before that where we were talking about the interview with Chad Henson from
and the things and the stuff.
The things from the stuff. Let's check it all out. Yeah. Hit those likes, subscribes, and all that good stuff. We love you. We thank you for your time.
Jeff and Casualties. We always miss this. Like,
yes,
we got to do our the little plugs because we always forget.
Plug time.
If you guys like podcasts and want another one to listen to, you can hit up. I do a weekly one as well with 3 of my friends at Interactive Distractions. That's on YouTube. You can just find it there, and any kind of like anywhere you listen to your podcast, I guess. Go for it.
And it is a good listen.
It is.
Thank you.
I can vouch for that.
We're the old men who scream at stuff, and like we've been doing this for a long time, and it's always good times.
Now, your buddies, are they from other podcasts as well?
Well, Jason A. Striker, he was on he worked for Giant Bomb for 10 years, and then he worked for Game Informer before that. So
Okay.
if you listen to Giant Bomb or watch Giant Bomb content, he was on the podcast quite often, and he did all the like video editing, and he's been in a lot of their video stuff too.
Okay.
And then the other two guys, no, we just kind of just do it as like a hobby. So
Yeah, because I think it was his name that was ringing a bell, because I was like, man, I've heard him from stuff. Yeah, because I followed Game Informer more than any other outlet that over the years. So
yeah, him and Dan Reichert were hired at Giant Bomb at the same time.
okay,
And they worked together at Game Informer, so they came over together.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then Russell.
I don't really have a whole lot to plug. I am going to be starting back up my Twitch stream here in the next like week or two. It's Casualties of Gaming. So go back to streaming Bethesda games and screaming at the TV, playing things like Super Meat Boy and Celeste. So that'll be interesting. I'll be starting that. So starting that back up. So look forward to that, I guess.
Okay.
Cool.
Then
Cool.
F-Bomb, you still
Nathan.
covering 007?
No, mate, I've finished 007.
Hell yeah.
I haven't uploaded anything for it yet. I'm just in the editing phase. But yeah, you can find all that stuff at Fbombgaming with an E, so FBOMBE gaming on YouTube. I have now started XCOM.
Okay.
Fuck, what's it called? The Bureau. I don't know if you guys ever played.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that the third person one or the first
Yeah.
person one?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like a third person action shooter.
Yep.
And there's no turn-based combat in it whatsoever. So it's very, very different, and it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. I've completed the first 2 missions. I'm really gonna try and start streaming, but my life's just so out of control at the moment that I just can't keep to a schedule. So I've just canned that for the moment.
You ever just walk into the backlog refrigerator and then you pick out one of those games out of the refrigerator and you're like, this bitch is expired, and you just throw it away. You're like, it's so far back. That's one of them.
Yeah.
That's one of them for me. Like it was just been on the infinite backlog, and it just got to a point where like, I'm never getting to that one. Well.
So for me, that's Biomutant. I've had Biomutant sitting beside my console. Because I'm going to play that next. I'm playing that next. I'm playing that next. And it just keeps getting shoved away. I don't know. Maybe I'll never play it.
I'm going to need to start a
you're not
rehab
touching that.
center for people like us. For me, I'm just one hot dragon everywhere. Underscore, all caps, spaces and all. So I'm not doing anything interesting except for this. But I sometimes say halfway funny things on Twitter, so I would definitely.
I get a like or two on Twitter, definitely.
Quite literally.
Yeah, love it.
Don't we all?
All right.
If you're getting likes on Twitter, you're doing something wrong, man. You got to piss everybody off. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, you
see
gotta
all
be
the
getting
mentions,
comments
the
and then
quote tweets.
screaming at you.
You gotta get.
You got to be quote tweeted,
tweets.
being like, look at this asshole.
All right. Yeah. 100%.
Look at him with his grey shirt and his blue headphones. Fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the worst. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good day.
Yeah, it's good chatting. We'll talk soon. Ciao.
Peace.